Hello, this is Dr. Rick Hofer. I'm presenting the paper Understanding How Human Service Nonprofits Engage Website Visitors Using the Nonprofit Website Engagement Framework. My co-author is Mary Twiss, who's not able to be here today. First, we know that nonprofits have websites, but the question is why? We believe that nonprofit website purposes can be boiled down to enhancing engagement and commitment of visitors. But there is still a big question. How can nonprofits use their website to create engagement? In this presentation, we discuss engagement theory, present our framework, and link the website elements to the framework. Now let's talk first about engagement theory. Engagement theory is important for technology use in education. Cassidy et al. Link engagement to the first-time visitors' motivations and website functionality. The greater the functionality, the more likely a visitor will return, thus showing engagement. DiMaggio and Broderick assert past research does not look at the website itself as the focal object of engagement. To understand why visitors return, they use marketing and communications theory. Of course, the goal for nonprofits isn't just repeat visitors, but to enact a mission. Thus, nonprofit websites must help entice first-time visitors to turn into engaged and committed stakeholders. O'Brien and Toms in 2008 conceptualized the process of engagement beyond the realm of education. This is their model. They start off at the point of engagement when the visitor comes to the website. There's a period of engagement, and there are various factors that contribute to the engagement. There's disengagement at the end with the possibility of re-engagement. We find, however, that O'Brien and Tom's model doesn't really look at the factors. They're under research. What are these factors that lead to or contribute to engagement? Also, they don't really explore what happens during the period of engagement. So we've taken their basic model and we've added to it and we believe improved it. We unpack what happens here in the period of engagement, and we see that we end up with two axes. We have immediate and long-term engagement and shallow and deep engagement. So we end up with 4 quadrants. We also look at the factors much more deeply that contribute to the length and the depth of engagement. So let's look at each quadrant in turn. The first quadrant is the immediate shallow. Someone who lands on a nonprofit's homepage may move into the immediate shallow area of engagement. But they may also bounce off within 3 seconds. If that happens, they're lost. So what can you do to keep them around? Get them to do something. So what could you do with this page? This is a homepage from an organization that I work with called the Senior Source. Well, obviously, you can click on things and read. There's a big Donate Now button. There's information on the home page, which actually scrolls down. You can read more about who they are, what they do. There's a job center you can look at to see if you can get a job there. Donate Now, obviously another place, and get involved for volunteer efforts. You can also scroll down and see much more of the home page. Another thing you can do besides click and read is to watch a video. Now preferably a video is short. Video watchers stay on the website about 2 minutes longer than other visitors. So this is an important way to get some shallow engagement. Videos not only stop the visitor from bouncing to another website, but show the visitor the organization's work and values, which starts the engagement process. Here's an example from the Senior Source website. There's this video. It's very tempting to want to click on that symbol and start the video rolling. You can also have email sign-up and inducement. Now, we believe the nonprofit needs to collect visitor email addresses. This is easier if something of compelling interest is given in exchange for the email address, such as a report, an infographic, or insider information about the nonprofit's work. The senior source has this. Now, it's good that they have a way to collect email addresses so that they can contact the visitor later, but they don't have anything in particular as a gift or something given in exchange. So in that regard, I think that they're a little deficient. Now, the second quadrant is what we'd call the long-term shallow. Someone in the long-term shallow quadrant has limited engagement but sticks around and doesn't disengage. They act as a potential pool for deeper engagement, so it's important to keep them engaged. So how do you do this? Well, you have long-term email strategies. Nonprofits must plan how to use emails to keep the subscriber engaged, at least engaged enough to open emails. Emails should feel like one-to-one communications of relevant information. Emails can also drive viewers to the nonprofit's social media platforms, and this has become more and more important. So we call this social media strategies. Social media platforms allow website users to have ongoing dialogue and interaction with others. Social media sites can then refer viewers back to the website for more information and greater detail. Here's our view of how the situation should be. You have the nonprofit website as the hub in the middle, going to and from all the social media sites, as well as letting the social media sites refer to each other. We know that many people in the world only look at Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or Twitter, and so it's good to have all of them and referring around the circle to each other. But they all go back to the hub, which is the website. Social enterprise is useful here. Nonprofits can create products or services that are associated with the nonprofit's mission and vision. These products and services can raise funds and awareness, and this is helpful when you're dealing with people in this long-term shallow situation or quadrant. The Red Cross, for example, sells first aid kits, and this not only provides income but awareness. The Catholic Charities of Fort Worth, which is a big agency for refugee services, has created a translation and interpretation network using the skills of the refugees that they've helped. So that's a service that brings income for the Catholic Charities, but also for the refugees. For the shallow, long-term engager, wearing a nonprofit's logo t-shirt, piece of jewelry, or even using a coffee mug identifies them as members of a group, thus reinforcing their engagement. Every time they sip coffee, they know that they're a member of the Texas Longhorns, or if they wear a t-shirt, they're advertising that radio station that is the voice of the people. Or that jewelry will certainly get people to ask what it is and what it means. So it helps recruit others as well. Moving to the third quadrant, the immediate deep quadrant. When someone comes to the website to do something now, they are in the immediate deep quadrant. These people want to just dive right in. Thus, nonprofits must ensure that volunteer and donation information is readily seen on the website. Now, when you're looking at online donation strategies for greater immediate engagement, you have to be sure that there's a Donate Now button that's prominently displayed. And you saw that earlier on the Senior Source website. You have to offer donors a recurring donation opportunity, or at least you should. It helps if you can provide donors with a personalization about where the funds will go as well. For example, here's a Donate Now button. Here is what happens after you click on that Donate button. and you can have it be a recurring gift. Give monthly or quarterly or whatever, and then you can have where the money should go. Is there a particular program you want to support, or just wherever the need is greatest? That's the donation strategies. Now you also have to have volunteer strategies for the immediate deep engagement. Information on opportunities to volunteer needs to be clearly displayed, with an emphasis on special short-term projects. Remember, these are people who want to immediately engage. In addition to this listing of the opportunities, you need to provide the contact information for the volunteer coordinator so that they can directly contact that person. While they're doing the volunteer opportunity, you need to make sure that the experience is remarkable so that they engage more deeply over time. Here's an example. Over on the right, there's short-term opportunities for groups, and the other opportunities are longer term, and people need to be trained in order to do those volunteer opportunities. So it's good all the way around. You get them in to start with a short-term project, you have a person they can contact, and then you have opportunities that are more involved and take more commitment. The fourth quadrant is the long-term deep quadrant, or the commitment quadrant. The population here is likely to provide donations more often and in larger amounts, volunteer more often and with greater enthusiasm, and respond to calls for action over time. This status is the desired endpoint for everyone who begins at the immediate shallow stage, though few make it. Dedicated and caring staff members are required to provide the human touch necessary for developing commitment, not just websites. Still, websites must play an important support role by having up-to-date information available to stakeholders, as well as notifications of intermediate levels of actions that can be taken to cultivate long and deep engagement. So let's look at the overview of the nonprofit website engagement framework. The upper left quadrant, immediate shallow. The nonprofit needs to have click and read opportunities, to watch video, and opt-in. For the long-term shallow, there's email content, social media, and social enterprise. These are the tactics. This is the how. How do you get immediate deep people to continue? Donations and volunteer opportunities need to be on the website. And in the final quadrant, the long-term deep commitment quadrant, you need to have cultivation by staff with website support. So what are the limitations of this paper? Well, this paper is conceptual in nature, laying out a framework for understanding how a nonprofit can use its website to promote the engagement process. Empirical results will help us understand better if the elements truly belong in the quadrants we have assigned them, or more than one quadrant. Currently, the framework is heuristically appealing, but has not been subjected to analytical testing. But what are some of the practice implications at this point? We offer many practical suggestions for nonprofits in adding elements to their websites to enhance engagement, which leads to long-term commitment of outside stakeholders, donors, and volunteers. Top management should embrace website redesigns to focus on the engagement process. All staff members should be trained to think of themselves as stakeholder engagement specialists in order to provide all people in the period of engagement with positive experiences that lead to deeper engagement and commitment. In terms of research implications, we have a few there as well. Future research needs to more explicitly link each website element to visitor engagement actions and whether and how commitment is enhanced. Future research should also test connections between website use and social media use. Both are clearly now necessary for nonprofits, and setting them in isolation is inadequate. We have three main takeaways. First, websites are still vital to nonprofits. Second, the framework we present shows which website elements should be included to move first-time visitors toward becoming committed to the nonprofit's mission and goals. And third, websites have advantages over social media platforms, though social media are important as well. Now I want to give you just a little bit more here. I want to show you the framework in metaphor. A day at the beach. The immediate shallow. That's like a person who got a swimsuit. Long-term shallow. This is someone who takes a slow walk in ankle-deep water. The immediate deep. They just dive off the high board once. And the long-term deep, these people swim the English Channel for you. Here are the references in short. Thank you.